Welcome to Spectacle on Television Nigeria. I am your host, Daniel Atai. Welcome to Spectacle program on Television Nigerian. Today, we'll be discussing live the issue on the topic incumbents and electoral tribunal victories. Of course, within the week, we heard and we've seen verdicts from the various tribunals across the country. Where incumbents seems to be having their ways. We want to know from you, of course the program will be open to audience, and I want to know whether the power of incumbency is probably affecting legal technicalities or legal verdicts, or the judiciary seems to sway to align always with incumbent powers. I will not be doing this alone in the studio. Of course, I have a guest with me in the person of Remi Adebayo. You are welcome to Spectacle.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Mr. Remi Adebayo is a journalist, a rights activist, and the president of Accountable Leadership for Better Nigeria Initiative. Today, he will be explicitly giving his take on this national trend and issues. Beside that, Spectacle is also open to sponsorship, like I have been saying, and the segment of our Nigerian tabloid we have in Television Nigeria, the tabloid where every news, trends, and issues about the politics, governance, and anything that you think you want to know about the country, both national and international, is in the Nigerian tabloid. You can ask and demand for the Nigerian tabloid so that you can have your copy. Is a tabloid that you just can't miss. And this month edition is very, very powerful. You have some headlines there like General Bora type footsteps of a global trailblazer. You have Magu and the deserved accolades on fight against fraud. You have PMB, take off, the momentum and the tax ahead. Of course, you have the Nigeria's most disastrous governors in the tabloid there. And the echoes of the 100 days, the governors that have also achieved. You have state governors missing in action. Just try the numbers. You can reach us on the screen there. You can reach us and order for your copy. I think the Nigerian tabloid is just £8. $10, and in Nigerian currency 2,500 naira. But I bet you won't regret putting your money there. Thanks for watching. Shortly I'll be with you. Stay tuned.
Situated in the serene environment of Guzape, Abuja FCT, TVN, as it is fondly called, caters to a wide variety of audience via carefully orchestrated mind-blowing programs in the areas of fashion, business, politics, entertainment, religion, movies, food and health, culture and lifestyle, events around the globe, sports and foreign news. Whatever your inclination, we've got you completely covered with programs like Issues of the Moment, The Patriot, Daybreak Nigeria, Matter Africa, TVN Business Time, Healthy Living, From the Cradle, Stay Inspired, Entertainment Gist, Movie Hour, Hit Paradise, among others. All designed to keep you thoroughly informed, entertained, at the edge of your seat and yearning for more. A tour around our domain will reveal a highly dedicated staff force and a state-of-the-art facility and equipment for high-definition quality broadcast, making our station your #1 choice in advertising your business and propagating your ideas. We are currently on Nightcomsat doing our test transmission for takeoff in the nearest future. Television Nigerian is located in Nigeria at Television Nigerian House, Guzape Hilltop Mansion, beside Guzape White House, Guzape Abuja FCT, and in the United Kingdom at 45 Ancient House, 48 Aerodrome Road, Beaufort Park, Colindale, London. For inquiries,
on Television Nigeria. I am your host, Daniel Atai. Welcome back. And like I earlier said, the topic is the Incumbents victory at the Tribunal. And don't forget, I'm your host, Daniel Atai, and with me in the studio is Remy Adebayo. Mr. Remy, let's go straight to the point. Just within the week, and of recent also, what is trending now is all incumbent governors across the state from the February election. The tribunal cases seems to be going their ways, and we don't know probably whether those petitioners from the opposition parties, the petitioners, when I mean opposition party, there are governors who are in PDP who are incumbent, there are governors who are in APC who are incumbents, and the tribunal seems to be giving them victory. What is the essence of legal litigations, especially at the tribunal seeking justice?
Thank you very much. First, I believe that most of the pronouncements from the tribunals have been decided on their merits. I'm not a lawyer. Okay. I'm sure you know that.
Yeah.
The interesting part of it is that you mentioned it yourself, that tribunal has in its wisdom given victories to both incumbent governors who are on the part of the PDP or the APC, based on the evidences that are presented before them or in the wisdom of the tribunal. Don't always forget also that we also had one, the major one, the big one, that ruled in favor of the incumbent President Muhammadu Buhari. The judgment that was given from the fallout of the February 23rd, 2019 election, it took us some time, but eventually we got to a point where the tribunal had to make a pronouncement. Okay. And fortunately or unfortunately now, this time around, come with a lot of questions. People are questioning what are the technicalities that were brought into to election matters, But let us look at it from this way.
Okay.
The pronouncement of this particular pronouncement is just not peculiar to the governors that were produced on the 9th of March this year.
Okay.
You remember what happened last year in Osun State? Remember the election, the contest that took all through the tribunal down to the Supreme Court, where the candidates of the PDP, Senator Ademola Adeleke, lost on technical ground.
Okay.
So we have a system, let me say an electoral system that is riddled with a lot of stumbling blocks, especially for the appellate. You understand?
Yeah.
Petitioners, I mean now.
Yeah,
the petitioners to prove beyond reasonable doubt the credibility that the credibility of is lacking in an election, to the point of making the tribunal to upturn the victory that has been given to whoever it has been given to. In this country, don't forget too that we have had victories of the incumbents upturned in the past. We had that, I think, in Ondo State. We had that in Osun State. We had that in Edo State. I think we had in Ekiti.
That was the time of Jonathan.
Not just Jonathan, even during the Obasanjo's era. Yes.
Okay.
All this could happen because if you are saying the incumbents are being returned today by the tribunal, we have to critically look at the substance of the petitions that were before the tribunals. I don't want to believe that they are winning because they are incumbents. They are winning perhaps because of the loopholes that are there, very, very obvious in the electoral process.
Or probably because of they have enough money to push for evidence or whatsoever.
I don't think so. I am thinking at the substance, the so much logjam, so much traps that were in our electoral system. Don't forget that before we held the last election, the last general election, there was a reform. There are so much reforms that were packaged before Mr. President to sign into law.
Okay. Like what?
Among them, we have a reform that would have allowed the electoral umpire to put legal status on the use of electronic voting, like card readers.
Okay.
Card reader, as it is today, is just being used as discretionary part of the election. It is not legal. The law does not see it. You know, so those are the areas. So much opportunities.
What do you mean the law does not see the card readers?
Card reader.
The evidence obtainable in the court, in the tribunal, of course. So
what are the law? What are the evidence? You can the law only sees card reader as a accreditation process.
Okay.
You understand? It is not seen. Like, I mean, card reader is not part of our electoral process as of today. That is what the electoral reform would have allowed us to go through. We couldn't go through all those ones. So we have a lot, I believe.
So what is the essence of the machines if you say the card readers are not... what is the essence of the voter's card?
The voter's card...
Yeah, because the card reader is to read the voter's card.
The voter's card... No, the card reader is only to accredit, to tell you.
Yes, to accredit the card.
To accredit the card.
That you are eligible voter.
Then don't also forget that we have instances of what they call is it situation or instances
instance form.
Yes,
of course, where your card
is damaged or is not seen,
or is not
for whatever reason. They gave you incident form to do your voting, and a lot of people have said that this is where most frauds take place in elections.
Okay.
So they have gone to. I remember, I think one of the election of 2015. A lot of people challenged this and said no, but the court says no. You can use incident form as long as card reader is not solely seen as the only accreditation tool that INEC can use in an election. So we have so much loopholes that allows the incumbent, you know.
All right, sorry. Okay, sorry, Mr. Adebayo. I said is open to call, and the numbers are displayed on the screen, and I think we have a first caller now on the line. You can call us concurrently. Hello.
Hello.
Good day and welcome to Spectacle.
This is Barrister Chris Ukbai calling from Lagos.
Okay, well, Barrister, you are welcome. What do you have to say? Are you watching us live?
I'm watching you live from Lagos.
Okay, go ahead and give us your input.
I want to agree with your guest that part of the problems we have in our elections as regards the verdicts coming from the tribunals is because the law has not really given any status on the card readers. One, and two, we don't have that an independent judiciary that will deliver judgment without fear nor favor. There is no way a judiciary that depends on the executive for funds, for appointment and other things will turn around to a government that does not favor the same executive. We see and the government of the day does not give room for the judiciary to act in a manner that does not favor the powers that be. We see that in 2007, when we saw a president come up like I'm talking of President Yaradua, he made it clear that his own election was fraught with irregularities, and he went on to make reforms. He consulted the Justice Mohammed Wise Committee on Electoral Reform, and under his watch, 7 PDP governors were removed at the tribunal. That was when the like of Shimole and P2P and others came back to power. So we don't have that kind of political will now. We don't have that kind of, until we have that kind of political will, we will not be able to have justice at the tribunal. What we have today is a predetermined judgment coming out of the tribunal.
Okay. Probably is the reason why the incumbents are winning.
That is the reason. That is the reason.
Okay, thank you very much for your wonderful contribution, Barrister. You heard him, he aligned himself with you, with your take. We've seen it in Sokoto State, Tambuwal of the PDP. The tribunal have declared him a winner of the, from the gubernatorial election that was held. Also in Kano State, apart from Tambuwal, Ganduje has been declared of the APC.
Yes.
Wike in Rivers. Have Wike in Rivers State.
Yes.
We have Simon Lalong in Plateau State. They are all incumbents, and we see their opponent heading to the appellant court.
Yes.
And what do you think is actually happening? Like the barrister that just called highlighted an issue of a dependent judiciary. He said the judiciary is not independent per se, and we have predetermined judgment already.
I will not want to subscribe to the idea of a predetermined judgment from the court. Like I was saying the other time, we have an election process where you can always point or pinpoint at looking at the direction of the incumbent to take over the process. It's at the process of voting, of election. I will agree with you on that. They have resources of the state to buy votes. Vote buying is part of what we have seen all over in this country.
Yeah,
they have the process of the state power. You understand?
As we speak, the tribunal judgment of Benue is on.
Okay, good.
Between Governor Toma of PDP and the APC.
Yes.
Barrister Jimmy, they are rightly sitting. We are waiting judgment, and I think probably if the judgment is delivered before our time elapsed from here, we'll receive a call live for that contribution to be made.
Now,
this
is what I'm saying. If you want to believe that the judiciary has been so bullied to take decisions, what also happened in states that are not being controlled by the federal powers, where we have the likes of Tambuwal.
But the tribunal, first of all, will sit at the state level.
See, whether they sit at the state level, I know that we have problem in our judiciary.
Okay.
No doubt about that.
Oh, good.
But I wouldn't want us to take that lock so far. See, the programmers of the electoral process in Nigeria have crafted it in a way that's why you see them always having the confidence that, okay, do whatever you want to do, let me just win. Return me and as the elected official, then every other thing, let's go to tribunal. It is always very, very difficult for you to prove at the tribunal. Look at the case of Atiku against Buhari at the tribunal. In fact, the tribunal rejected every other plea.
Okay, hold on. After this timeout, I will come back to you. Let's take a short break and go for a commercial. Welcome back from that short break. And of course, we are still talking about incumbent governors and their tribunal victories. And I have with me in the studio Remi Adebayo doing justice to the topic on discussion today. Mr. Remi, before we went on break, you were talking about Atiku Buhari's cases in the tribunal.
Yes.
And Buhari, of course, is an incumbent.
Yes, an incumbent. This is what I'm trying to spot.
Okay.
The law says the petitioner, he who alleges, must prove
beyond reasonable
doubt. And not just proving, you also have to go as far
as providing evidence.
Not just providing evidence. We have almost about 1,000, is it 1,100 something polling units in the country. You have to take substantial part of that as evidence. You understand? For you to prove your case. And at the end of the narrative, you must prove that the action that you are alleging to have been committed has damaged it has affected the overall result of the election that you are contesting. So if you look at all those processes, even while not being a lawyer, you know that it's always Herculean on the part of the petitioners, most often to prove. And at the tribunal level, these are always the matter that the judges will have to look at and say, okay, if you say that this is what has happened, at the end of the day, you are contesting 10 figures. How has the 10 figures that you are contesting against, how has it affected the result of this election that you are talking about? So it is very, very difficult because we have a process. You see, I believe that yes, most of this pronouncement will still be reviewed at the court, at the Supreme Court. Fine.
The appeal and Supreme
Court. Maybe when they get to that place, perhaps what may have skipped the attention of the judges at the tribunals could be captured. And when they are capturing it, don't forget also that those courts are not going to be hearing.
Let me ask you this question.
Okay.
Do you think that what the barrister that called in said, predetermined judgment and the dependent of the judiciary at the state level or at the federal level is a factor?
Who constitutes the tribunals at the election tribunal?
No, what he says emphatically, he said, who pays the pipers dictates the tone.
That's what
especially at the state level, for instance.
Okay. Let me ask, or let me drag this narrative somewhere. In the past, when we had elections being upturned, even when PDP presidents were on seat,
of course, we have PDP governors winning.
Yes,
right away. Wike won.
Yes,
Tambuwa won.
That's what I'm saying. And so we should not scapegoat the judiciary all the time. It is true that we have issues with it. Of course, a lot of people are thinking that, okay, the appointment of judges should now go beyond the influence of the executive. The judiciary should stay on its own. We should have an independent funding system. I think, you understand? Yes. Where the executive will now have a say.
Yes.
And people are saying that based on certain circumstances that we have seen of late, especially how the former CJN Water Onohe was removed. A lot of people felt that no, we are having some kind of executive interference in our judicial system. Fine, it is true. We have all this. Don't also forget that in the past, when at the inception of this administration around 2006 or 2017 or so, where we had judges' house being bungled, judges sleeping in their homes. You have the Department of State Services (DSS) going into their homes at midnight, picking them up. Most of them got to the court eventually. There was nothing that was found incriminating against them. So all these are strong to implant a kind of perception about the kind of judgment that are coming from, according to most Nigerians, from a compromised or a bullied judiciary. Fine, I can say from there. But beyond that, you have to come as petitioners with the ways and weight of evidence to convince the judges that, okay, the election that I am contesting has held in this manner, and this is why I'm proving it, that it is not credible. This is why I'm saying that victory must come my own way. So I believe that if you can go that way, it's going to help us. But beyond that, most elections will not be upturned if certain things are not taken into consideration. First is the manner of the election itself. You don't forget also that election is not just, I mean, it's not just, it's a process, it's not just an end in itself. Election did not start and end on the 9th of March.
Okay,
you know,
let me ask you this question.
Okay.
I will bring you in. Please, audience, don't forget, like I said, the numbers are displayed on the screen, and is an audience participatory program, your spectacle. You can call in and give us your own take from your state and or your contribution as regard the topic on discussion. Now, Mr. Remy, before you further talk about the process of election, in a situation where you know, in the court, in the tribunal cases, you have pleas. You have pleas, various pleas. They are numbered, and then when judgment day comes, maybe you have 10 pleas to that the tribunal judge must have issued judgment on.
Yes.
Probably in favor of the appellant, the petitioner, or the respondent.
Yes.
Now, in a situation where you have maybe 7 to 8 plea being won, and then only one, probably one that is not won, and judgment or verdict will be given on account of that one. Does it look like injustice?
I don't.
You don't get me.
I get you.
Okay.
I think I got what you are saying.
Okay.
Like you have some prayers before the court.
Yes.
That, okay, on count 1, count 2.
Is your favor?
This one is
in
in
your favor. Is in your favor.
We have noticed that. Yes, that's how. I think that's how the court rule.
Okay.
That's why
the substantiality of the case,
yes,
is based on the pleas.
That's what I'm saying. You remember also that in the election that the judgment of the PDP APC that we mentioned too.
Yes.
There are some pleas that the APC lost based on certain some technical issues.
Yes.
That okay, does INEC has the power to to enter into judgment? Does joining the vice presidential candidate of the APC will it nullify the petition and all those ones? And the court ruled in favor of the PDP. That said no. That you don't join him does not mean that the case cannot go on. It doesn't have substance. So every case is determined on their merit. Count 1, count 2, count. That's why you can have somebody in court today. You say you charge somebody on 3 count charge, and the court look at count 1 and feel that okay, based on the evidence before us, is guilty. They look at 2, they say he's guilty, and you look at the 3rd one and say it's not guilty, or the other way. So law is not emotion. Law is about facts. It's about how much evidence you can bring in to convince. Because the judges were not there. Judges were not on the field of play. You are the one that was there. If a crime is committed now, the judges were not there. The police perhaps will come as the first line of account to come and see what happened. Okay. So they charge you to court based on that one. So it is now left to you and the law to prove that okay, this is what happened while the judge was not there. These are the facts, and because of that, they make their pronouncement. So to me, it does not nullify the credibility of the pronouncement of any court when a count or a charge is determined on their merit based on the evidence that were presented before the court.
Okay, for now, we could only say congratulations to Ganduje of Kano, congratulations to Tambuwa of Sokoto State, congratulations to Wike of River State, congratulations to Simon Lalong of Plateau State, and we are waiting to hear from Benue State. The case is still on, and if you are from any part of this country, although their opponent petitioners have all gone to court, the appeal court, also that will determine in the nearest future, and the elongation of cases in court, electoral cases, has it been redefined?
I think cases, and that's why you see cases coming almost.
We have 180 days for the tribunal.
180 days for the tribunal.
How many days for the appellant court?
I think 90 days now. Like the presidential appeal now that the Supreme Court is going to take 90 days. Under 90 days, we must have a pronouncement. for the
There is
case to be reviewed.
there is another 3 months.
That's 3 months, yes.
And if somebody is heading to the Supreme Court, it's
Yes.
another 3 months.
Yes.
So probably you have 6 months and 6 months.
Yes.
That is 1 year, 2 months to determine electoral
matters. Don't forget that in the past, it used to be longer.
Okay.
In fact, some, I think...
And do you think this
should
should still be streamlined? We don't have much time again anyway.
The reason why you don't have that, when one would expect that the timing could be abridged, but we also have to look at the weight of pressure on the judiciary. We don't have extra court determined cases of elections, so all those ones also play into it. So it is too early to congratulate the winners at the tribunal, because the case could still be reviewed and some of them may still lose at the appeal. So it depends on how you say it. Don't forget also in Osun, I mentioned Adeleke the other time, he won at the court of appeal.
Okay, we don't have much time again.
Okay.
We're about to leave, but let me ask you this last question. Would you rather want the what do you call it, the package you talked about, the electoral reform
Yes.
package that is on ground to be looked into now because of the this brouhaha coming out from case and the elongation of tribunal cases that we are witnessing today? Because when justice is not properly served, I think it is justice denial in a kind of what do you
I
want?
will want that bill or that reform to be assented to by the president, even if he can do that today. If you look at the volume of returns of petitions that are coming to this election, it shows that we have some problems. And the president has that honor. He holds Nigeria that legacy. For him to sign anything that can clean up the electoral process, to make it better from what we have today. I don't know why candidate cannot even be a legal issue as we are talking today now. So we have a lot that are still left undone. The president can do it. What I don't know, I think the 9th Assembly has to repass that bill and return it to the president. This is the time now, because we are losing time already now. Time is already eating into this tenure already. Yeah. The president can save this country by giving us that one. Look at the caller the other time spoke about Justice Umar and Lawal Waste Reforms Committee.
Yes.
All those are there in the public view. The president can take this and say, see, he has no stake in 2023 as such again, because he's not going to recontest.
Exactly.
So he can do this nation that pride, that honor, by leaving a legacy of a more transparent and a cleaner electoral process for Nigeria.
That's good. Thank you for coming to the program, and that is where we stop today on Spectacle. Don't forget, we are still open to sponsorship, your scorecard, your blueprints and visions. We can tell it to the world for you. I am your host, Daniel Atai. See you next time. Welcome to Spectacle on Television Nigeria. I am your host, Daniel Atai.